Hello, everyone, and welcome on this informational session for the AfriTech Fellowship. So, my name is Angael, and just to give you a quick overview of what we are going to do today is I will go through what the AfriTech Fellowship is quickly to explain what we are, what we do, and who is on the team. And then we will spare some time at the end for questions and answers. If at any point during the slides that I will be presenting, you see that there is some questions that you might have regarding the slides or regarding anything that we are talking about, or some questions that you already might have, please feel free to put it in the chat, or also just let us know so that we can explain later on. So on our team, we are three, but there's also a lot of work at the back. So there are more and more people, really. But the core team is actually Veronique Kuti-Jenkins, who is the founder and director of the AfriTech Fellowship. Then there is me. So as I said, my name is Angela Kare, and I'm the co-creator and program manager of the AfriTech Fellowship. And we also have Anne-Sophie Virasamy, who is also on this call today, who is our communication assistant and an alum from the AfriTech Fellowship Cohort 1. So I would like to say that Veronique wanted to be here, but unfortunately, due to time difference, she won't be able to join us on the call. But we on the team, me and Anso, will make sure to reply to all your questions. So basically, what is the purpose of our fellowship? So our fellowship is created so that we can empower emerging women in the STEAM field through the development of technical and leadership development skills. So what you can see on the screen, I'm sure you're wondering what women with an X actually mean. So women with an X is not a typo here. It's something that we chose to write like this because women with an X is an intersectional term which is intended to signal the inclusion of those who have traditionally been marginalized in the past. So it can be for Black women, women of color, trans women, and more recently, the term has also been used to include non-binary people. So this is what the purpose of a fellowship is, to empower emerging women. So now, how do we plan to do this? We are looking into doing this by empowering fellows with the confidence and skills to competitively pursue careers in STEM-related fields. So for those of you who don't know what STEAM means, it's science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. And by equipping fellows with a diverse and international network, by helping fellows craft a personal leadership plan. So the personal leadership plan is one of the assignments that our fellows will get to do and work on. And by utilizing an equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging approach, but also a lens of EDIB for all aspects of a curriculum design and delivery. And we will be doing that by a mix of online and in-person sessions. Later on, I will explain more into what I mean about online and in-person session and what is actually expected of fellows if you are actually chosen to be part of the fellowship. But before this, I think it's important to explain what our core themes are. And those four core themes are actually the pillars of what the AfriTech Fellowship is. So the four core themes are spatial technology or geospatial technology, inclusive leadership, project management, and wellness. So what we mean by those four core themes is some people might think that we actually have more importance in one of them and less for others, but actually each one of them has a power and has its importance into what we do in the AfriTech Fellowship. So I will go through the different core themes so that you get a sense of what it means, but we want you all we took those four core themes to shape not just skilled professionals, but grounded, confident, and purpose-driven leaders. So the first, which is spatial technology, geospatial technology, is also known as location intelligence or the science of where. This is the aspect that is the most technical of the fellowship, and the most technical part of the program. And in that aspect, fellows will engage with it through a mix of online and in person again. So there will be a portion that will be into a lab, so a computer lab, so that you get to build up the skills. And we will continue the skill building and the capacity building through workshops that might be online or even through opening hours that we do every Monday, usually during the fellowship. So beyond the learning and the capacity building, we really want the fellows to use and leverage this as a tool that they can leverage actually in the different industry that each other fellow might be in. So spatial technology has application across many industries. So it can be used for climate, it can be used for urban planning, for health, logistics, and there is even more than that. But because our fellows actually span different backgrounds, we intentionally showcase how these tools can be applied in many fields. So, as I said, this will be the most technical aspect of the fellowship. Then we have the inclusive leadership and project management that I will actually put together into explaining why it was important for us to have those two pillars as well. So the second and third theme is inclusive leadership and project management. And this is a mostly foundational skill, but they are also deeply connected to confidence and self-belief. One thing that we've realized is that being women in the STEAM field or being in the STEAM field to begin with, we don't necessarily have classes or time to actually take time to understand what inclusive leadership is, what leadership is, and understand what are the skills that are present behind project management. So by learning project management, fellows don't just learn how to run projects, but they learn how to structure their thinking, their time, and even their everyday lives more clearly. And for the inclusive leadership aspect, it adds another layer. It is about maybe understanding what people are and what they are navigating that might be different, and leading in a way that creates space for everyone. So together, these two themes help fellows move from maybe simply having ideas to being able to lead, organize, and bring those ideas to life with others. So it might be within a community or on their own. And then finally, but certainly not the least, we have wellness. And this portion is the most vulnerable and in many ways the most powerful part of the fellowship. During past conversation that we might have had with other fellows in the past, we've seen that they were talking about what they struggle with, like how sometimes they feel alone in what the type of challenges they face at school, at university level, or even in their workplace. And one thing that we realized is that they are actually not alone. Everybody might have been facing some stuff like pressure, self-doubt, burnout, or feeling lost. And until they realized that so many others were experiencing the same things, we tend to put it on the low. We feel like this is something normal and that we cannot actually talk about it. So we often lack safe spaces to have these honest conversations, and especially in professional or even the STEAM environment. So the wellness pillar, it creates that space and it allows fellows to reflect, to be seen, and most importantly, to intentionally build a lifestyle that support all the dimensions of well-being that you will get to learn about throughout the fellowship as well. And it is also where true community is formed. If there's one thing that you will see is that through the AfriTech Fellowship, we are often talking about community, and usually the community is formed around the wellness pillar of the AfriTech Fellowship. So these are the four core themes that we have. Now, what is our goal with those core themes at the beginning is to firstly to demonstrate an overall positive improvement in all fellows in both leadership and technology skills. We also want to create opportunities for fellows to get visibility on a global stage through virtual technology, conferences, and expose fellows to career and education opportunities. And one thing that I want to add here is that most of the time, when we talk about getting new opportunities and discussions, this doesn't necessarily mean that we as facilitators will be giving it to you. Sometimes it's even among the fellows. You will see how much you will be growing together as well. Thirdly, we also want to have a better visualization of future goals, objectives, and activities for the fellows. So sometimes we tend to have a lot of goals and objectives in our life, but we do not necessarily know how to structure them or how to make them actually happen, or how can we put activities or actual action items onto how to make those goals come true. So that's one thing that we will try to work with each one of you, and more women taking actions and having a prominent role in addressing environmental, social, and climate justice issues in their community. So these are our goals, and I now want to talk about something that is very important, which is the aspect of what is our expectation of you if you actually become a fellow, because it's something that is very crucial and very important, which is why we really wanted to have this information session so that you can ask as much question as you can and you need. And so what we will be so if you're selected, what is required time commitment as a fellow? So you must be available to attend 4 in-person full day training. So as I said at the beginning, the most technical aspect of the AfriTech Fellowship is the portion around geospatial technology. And this is a very technical aspect. And this is what usually happens during those full day training session, on the 4 full day training session, which we are planning to start in April. Because we've seen in the past that fellows who miss those sessions, it's very difficult for them to get to the same level as the other fellows who actually did attend those sessions. Also, there will be in-person sessions that are from 9 to 3 p.m. So usually it will be on a Saturday, once per month. So the fellowship will cover a portion of 6 months. So once per month, you will have a Saturday, which will be an in-person session from 9 to 3. And then all online session will be held via Zoom. So it will be around 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It doesn't have to be 3 hours. Sometimes it will be 1 hour, sometimes it will be 2 hours, sometimes an hour and a half. But we just place those time frames so that you have an idea, and that might be a discussion amongst the fellows. But usually it is on Thursdays, and it is thrice per month for the duration of the 6 months. So one of the questions that we've heard a couple of times is, do I have to cover any cost if I become a fellow? And the answer is no. You have no cost to cover. We will cover the cost of food during any in-person gatherings and all costs associated with the technical training. So licenses to actually be on the platforms will be given to you for free. But however, one thing that we will ask from you is we want you to know that you will be fully responsible for covering the cost of transportation to and from the venue of in-person sessions. So one thing that we want to add as well is that we will be communicating these well in advance. It will be usually during the onboarding. Once you become a fellow, you will get an onboarding session so that you get all the information, and a PDF will be sent to you. So you will have all the information that you need, all the dates that have been finalized. So if there is at any point a problem of you not being able to attend, it's very important that you communicate with us, because this is something that we can work on only if we have the information well in advance. Also, I'm trying to cover as much as possible in this portion, but I will also want you to ask me questions, because maybe you have questions that are unrelated to what I'm talking about. That's why I went through this couple of slides quite quickly, because I do want to give more space for you to ask questions. But you will see that the application deadline is the 31st of January of 2026. If you go on the link on our link tree, you can apply there. You will see there is our FAQ sheet. So any type of questions that you might be asking yourself after this or that are not listed on our FAQ, you are more than welcome to reach out to us. So you can reach out to us on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. And we also have our email address, but all of these information are on our link tree. So if you scan this QR code, you will get access to this as well. So again, I know it was very quick because it was done intentionally because I really want you to take time to actually say what you want to say or ask what you have to ask. So with that, I will say that the floor is yours. I do have a couple of questions that I have received from the inboxes, but if you have any type of questions that you want me to answer, please put it in the chat. Or if you want to unmute yourself, that's fine as well. Anso has put in the chat the application link. So if you don't have it, you can save it here. And also the FAQ section link. So do we have any questions? If you want to unmute yourself, raise your hand. You can go ahead.
Hi
Okay, I
there.
see Sia. Hello.
Yes, thank you so much for this presentation. I wish to apologize, I was
What's
slightly late,
up?
but it was very nice and straight to the point.
Okay.
I love that. And maybe I've been through the FAQ, it's very well detailed, everything's there. Maybe I wanted to know more about your personal experience with the Africa Tech Fellowship.
Mhm.
So, how it went for you, what was the process like, what did you learn, maybe some key takeaways from it. Maybe that would be nice.
Okay, so thank you, Sia. Don't worry about being late because this is recorded. So if you have to review any portion of it, you can do that later. So I'm the co-creator of the fellowship. So I think the best way to answer your question would be through the fellows because I mean the alums. I'm very happy to see that there are three alums. Well, there was three, one went away, but there's two alum at least. No, I think, yeah, there's three alums on this call. So I think I would let them answer because I think they are the best person to actually tell you what they've learned for the fellowship because that's what you want to know, right? Just to make sure I got your answer right, your question right.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, good. So Anso, Natasha, or Umaira.
Yeah, so I think I can go first and share my experience about the
Go
AfriTech
ahead.
Fellowship. So yeah, so for me already when I was in the first cohort of the AfriTech Fellowship, so it was like 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, Anga. I think 2 years or nearly. I think now 4 years now. To go 2026. So first of all, when I first learned about AfriTech, I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what was GIS. Literally, I apply, got in, and the following after the induction session, I had to Google what is GIS. Actually, I did it, but I learned a lot from it because it helped me to step out of my comfort zone, which is something I needed because I felt stuck. And I later on realized that I wasn't the only one thing like that. Like literally, nearly, I think all of the women that was in the fellowship was also feeling stuck in their life, as if like we want to go anywhere. And with AfriTech, we learn like how to step out our comfort zone, how to like gain our voice as women in the STEAM field, which is we all know it is very hard and competitive because we have like kind of how to earn our place in it. So it was for me. It was like it started as a safe space, and now we call it a brave space because we learned that what we think was our weaknesses was actually what make us unique and like our authentic self. And for the aspect of GIS, as I told you, like I didn't know what GIS was. I learned what it was, and I'm from the field marine science, which through the AfriTech Fellowship, I learned that literally it blend in my field. And I am also certified scuba diver, and I always wanted to like make other people see the beauty of the ocean. And with AfriTech, I learned how to do it. Like you're gonna learn with GIS, you're gonna learn about different tools that there are in GIS, like the storytelling, dashboard, surveys, and I like did story map where I was able like to show people the beauty of diving and the ocean. And at the end of the fellowship, I managed to like bring some of the fellows with me. Even one of them, she's gonna recognize herself. She was like so determined not to go dive, and I bring her with me. I was amazed myself how I managed to make her want to go dive, and she told me it was because my story map, which I was like really amazed myself. So for that aspect, is like where I really learned how to maximize what I learned from the fellowship into my personal and professional goals. And in terms of wellness, is as women, we like this is what kind of like how I felt before is like because I was a woman in the field of STEAM, and since I have like to fight kind of like for my place, I kind of think like I shouldn't have boundaries in terms of like okay, I'm not feeling well, but because I have to show up, so I was still going to work even though I wasn't feeling well, saying yes even though I didn't want to say yes. I didn't want to say no, but I said no. If I say no at work, they're gonna say, "Oh, she's weak, she can't do it." But with AfriTech, I learned that about boundaries, about setting boundaries, not only at work, but also personally. And like sometimes even with yourself, like I was sometimes feeling guilty for taking an off from work. But then later on I realized that I was allowed to do it because I have off days, so why not take it? Like it was really like listening to yourself and like really be strict with like the wellness part. And this is like really changed my life, like making me like really and I realize like in terms also of relationship I have, I tend to like be able to have like really mindful people around me, people who really care about me, either personally or professionally, and this really changed everything. And this is what kind of like the key takeaway that I have from the AfriTech. And also I end up meeting really awesome amazing women, which most of them are still like very close friends to me, and we still go dive together, which is amazing. So for me, it is really what AfriTech has been for me. And for as you see, like I'm still on the team, I'm still helping out, meaning that since AfriTech has given me so much, I wanted to give back what they gave me. And it is definitely an amazing opportunity, a worth it experience. You're gonna be scared. It was scary, of course, at first, but when you step in it and you're gonna have like a whole team helping you out, and also a bunch of alumni who like will be like more than happy to help out all the new fellows coming in. So yeah, so that from my part, I don't know if Umaira and Natasha are still there, if they want to share something.
Thank
That
you so
was
much,
really great.
answer.
Yeah,
Thank
sorry.
you.
I was saying it was really great, and I loved how genuine your answer felt, and how you really applied it and it intersected with different aspects of your life. And that was really beautiful. And yes, thank you. I'm really glad I joined this call.
Thank you, Sia. And thank you, Ansel, for being this amazing woman, as usual, and sharing your genuine experience. I would like to say that I do want to know if Umaira and Natasha has something to say first, because we always say that our fellows are actually the best person to actually talk about what the fellowship is actually about. And I've seen that Natasha has unmuted herself. So I think Natasha is going to go on.
I actually do. So good evening, everyone. So I'm Natasha. Uh, I'm an alumni from cohort one, same as Anne-Sophie. I actually met her there. Didn't know her before. And so my experience when I started AfriTech, first of all, I had no idea what GIS was and what I was applying for, to be honest with you. And when she did same a small introductory about what will be AfriTech, what is GIS, I still had no clue what was going on. And after the first 3 days of the technical session, I was like, okay, just to give you a small update about me, I'm a chemist. I'm not into technology at all. When I started, I always said that I was a dinosaur in technology. I knew the basic Word, Excel, and that's it. Don't ask me anything else. I don't know. And then she put me in front of a computer and started to be like, don't worry, you won't break anything. And I was so scared at the beginning. This was my face during the first 3 sessions of the technical part was awful. But throughout the course of the learning, you start to learn new things and you don't get afraid to touch new buttons, anything. You just get used to that at some point. And now, I used to be someone working in a lab just washing beakers the whole day. Now I sit in an office and I work with computers and software and I help people. So being in this fellowship helped me to be less scared and to take more initiative. Now, when I go to customers, I use the same sentence as they used to tell me in the fellowship. Don't worry, you won't break anything. You can't break it. You can't break the software. This is what I told people now. And I get the confidence now because I was in the fellowship. This is about the GIS part. The other part that I've also very much liked is the community that we built. In the fellowship, it was a space that was safe for you to express yourself. When I started the fellowship, I was a very introverted person. I wasn't talking very much. I think they all knew about it. My face was always like a boxing face, not talking to anyone. And so throughout the fellowship, coming in every Saturday, meeting people and talking to them, they made me feel safe. And I started to talk and I started to become more extroverted. And now I'm pretty extroverted. I talk a little bit too much now. I think they will all agree with me. And people start to see sides of me that normally I don't show. And this is the only place where I feel safe to express myself. And not only that, the fact that I'm very safe around these people, I'm more safe to talk to people now. This is a good thing about it. Also, learn regarding the part of leadership that I appreciated is they showed me how to manage people, because when you're in the work environment, you see bosses managing you in a way, and you feel like, is it the only way? Because you don't feel comfortable in the workplace. You see people just giving you orders, giving you deadlines, and telling you to do things without actually explaining to you why you're supposed to be doing that, or even if you make a mistake, or how can you make it better. And being in the fellowship, I've seen things in the different ways. The way Vero and even Angael told us to do things, they just don't tell you to do things. They tell you to do things, but explain to you why you have to do it. And even though it's not good, they will never told you directly, no, it's not good. They will tell you maybe it's not good, but why it's not good, and how can you make it better? So it makes you be a better person at the end of the day. And if you want to be a leader, this is basically how I want to be a leader, not just to be bossing people around, but to actually give meaningful advice and feedbacks to them so that they can improve. So this is my overall experience of the AfriTech community. It's a community that I love being there. Actually have very good friends with them and I enjoy being around them. And it was never a burden to go there every Saturday because it was a space where I loved being. That's my overall experience.
Thank you so much, Natasha. And I think I've actually, to be fair, I've actually even forgotten that you were an introvert to begin with, Natasha, because like you said, you are now an extrovert. Thank you for sharing this and thank you for being honest with us and telling us how it was for you. I like the way that you said that you were actually scared, and that's fine. We don't want you to come and know everything. You're gonna learn, we are gonna learn from you as well, and we are gonna all learn from each other. So I think coming scared is fine. Just come. And then we'll discuss and know more about this. So Geshna, who actually happened to be on the call, just hopped in, just so you understand what we're talking about. Geshna is Sia actually asked us what was it like to be an here. I don't know if Omera will go on to say what she wants to say about the AfriTech Fellowship, but Keshna, if you have something to add as well, feel free. And if there is any other question as well, feel free to put it in the chat and we can discuss more because we still have quite some time left. Go ahead, Mara.
Yes, so good evening, everyone. I am Umera. I am also from the first cohort with Anne-Sophie and Natasha. So actually, I think when I hear about Anne-Sophie and Natasha's experience, I guess we all started the same way. We didn't know what was GIS, what does it mean, and what we were going to do in the fellowship. And for me, I did apply basically because I saw that we were going to follow a fellowship based on leadership. So that was what attracted me towards AfriTech. But then after the first session that we had, when Vero explained what is GIS, I was like, oh my God, that is not for me at all. I don't think I will be able to do something with that. It's too complicated for me. But then we went with the technical session, and I realized that GIS is just a tool for anyone, anybody in any field to express yourself, to express your data in a way that everyone can understand. So for me, this is what GIS is. And well, for the GIS part, it was quite challenging, but very interesting, not something that you are forced to do, but something that you want to learn, because it is so interesting, have so many tools that you want to try, what can I do with that? And it keeps giving you ideas to put it into place, to use it in different fields. So basically, that's what we did during our capstone project and when designing our story maps. So for me, the GIS was the creative part of the fellowship. And then what really touched me most was the wellness part, whereby really the AfriTech community is a safe space. It's a healthy environment where you can express yourself in a genuine way, where you don't feel scared about what others will whether they will judge you or whether what you will have bad influence from others. So everyone there is very encouraging, and we all work as part of a community. We enjoy ourselves, we learn from each other, and we elevate each other. So for me, this is what the community is about, and maybe that's why today I'm here. Even after work, even after we are tired, but we are still here because we want to be here. It's not something that we are forced to do, it's something that we want to do. So this for me is the one that I think for me the most important part of the AfriTech community, the wellness part, the healthy environment that we have there. And for the leadership part, it really helps you to organize yourself, to gain that self-confidence that you need in your professional life, in your personal life as well, for you to be able to express yourself, for you to be able to understand others, so that you can grow out of it. And you can, at the same time, when you're growing, you help others to grow as well. So for me, that was the leadership part that I learned about in the AfriTech Fellowship. And also the networking as well. This was very important because especially when we are in the STEM field in Mauritius, we don't know much about what opportunities do we have. So the AfriTech really showed us and the whole world, whereby you know that you have so many opportunities, you're networking with so many amazing, not only it was mostly women, but also other people from around the world, where you get to know more about opportunities and what you can do really. And it's not just what you learn from the university, that if you do that degree, you have to do. I'm a chemist, by the way, as well. So if you are, for example, for us, if you're a chemist, so you either work in a lab or you work as a teacher. That's what you have in Mauritius. But when you network with other people, you realize you have so many other opportunities, and AfriTech really opened doors for that. And I'm very grateful for the AfriTech community. And really, after the fellowship, I personally don't want that to end. So that's why now I'm part of the AfriTech community. I'm an AfriTech member, and I'm really looking forward to more fellowship sessions and to help others to grow the same way as I have grown.
Thank you, Mira. I swear I'm not crying, I swear. And thank you also for saying that you're not forced to say that because, like, from the outside listening in, maybe it sounds like so perfect. But that's the thing, like, there's no way to explain it other than that, I guess. But yes, Geshna, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was not there since the beginning, but I do want to share my experience as well. So, I think I applied to AfriTech because a colleague of mine, a friend of mine, she was applying, so she said, "Gishna, apply you too." So I applied, not knowing what I was jumping into. But I'm someone who's quite curious. So technology does not scare me at all, I mean, that much. So I love to explore things, new tools, and so for me, GIS was it was fun. I will not lie. It was fun for me because I really love to learn new things, and that was something that I didn't know anything about. But now I can say I know what is GIS. And funnily enough, I think last year I'm doing actually a master's currently, and there was an exam question on GIS, and I was like, but what would I have done on that question if I didn't know what GIS was? Because when I had that question, I was like, but I know everything. I know what GIS is. I know how GIS works. So that really helped me. So even if you think that GIS, what is that? Is it even going to help me? Believe me, it's going to help you out of nowhere. It will come. And I think the part of GIS that I love the most is story maps because it allows you to tell your story in such a unique and beautiful manner. Because I'm someone who loves to take pictures. So, how do you merge your pictures with your story is what a story map does for you, as well, of course, the places where you took those pictures. So, really, that combination and the ability to just tell your story in a different and unique manner. And as Umaira said, the wellness session, I think the one thing that I love the most that I think I would always miss is the grounding session. So every single Saturday, we had a grounding session before we even started the day. And I think that was life changing. And what else can I say? Yeah. So for me, Afritech has been a really beautiful experience because I don't know if you go back to my journey, I was doing great things, but I didn't believe that I was doing great things. So Afritech, what it does to you really is have the confidence to believe in yourself and really take up space for the great things that we're doing as women in STEM, because all of us are doing great work in every field that we are doing great work. It's just that we don't own up to that. And I think Afritech gave us the voice and the strength to really own up to our stories and tell our stories to the world. So yeah, that's Afritech in a nutshell. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Gishna. And I do want to add two things on what Gishna had said is I know that a lot of the alums that have been talking since the beginning now, they talked about the story map. And I think the best way for you to understand what it actually means is for you to actually look at it. So last year for GIS Week, we actually showcased some story maps of our fellows that they've been working on, and it really does represent each one of them in what they are and the amazing work that they're doing and the amazing goals they have achieved in their life. So if you actually want to see them, they are on our social media. You will get the link to each one of those story map. So there's Anne-Sophie's story map about diving. There's Natasha's story map about PFAs and what how it's silently killing us. And there is the one of Geshna who is actually about her story and like what she had to say. Like she said, actually taking her own voice and voicing it out. So I think the best way for you to understand, for people who are on this call or listening after the call, I do want you to take some time to actually go and see what those story map look like. And if you actually have questions about them, you can reach out to us. You can reach out to our fellows, to our alums. I keep saying that they are fellows because to me, they will always be like fellows, but they are alums now. And I do want to say that I'm very grateful for each one of them for showing up, because if there's one thing that we really wanted people to do throughout the AfriTech Fellowship is showing up, be it for themselves, but also for others and for the community. And this is exactly what I see each and every time we do say there's something for the AfriTech Fellowship, people do show up. So I do want to say thank you for that. Um, I don't know if there is any other questions that you might have about the experience, or any other type of question that you think might help you for the application or for the fellowship itself. Please feel free, write in the chat or unmute yourself. If you need to speak in French, Creole, or English, because that's the only three languages I actually know, um, feel free to do that. That's fine. Okay, so if we don't actually have questions, I do want to see maybe if the alums, there were any type of questions, like specific questions that you might have had at the beginning of your journey as a fellow, or even before applying, something like a question that you wanted an answer to, that maybe we can share with others. Please feel free to put it in the chat or unmute yourself and let us know.
I am trying to recall if I had any question when I first started the fellowship, but I'm such a person of like go with the flow and we see what happens, that I think like even if I have like any question, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna show up in the first like session of the AfriTech and we're gonna see from there. And it's true, like on the first session itself, like most questions that I had were answered. So I can't really remember what kind of question I might had. Oh, I see Natasha put in the chat. Time and level of commitment required during the fellowship. Oh yeah.
Thank you, Anso. I think one thing I want to say is that it's a good thing that you actually went with the flow, because one thing that we were very scared of is because of GIS, so the very technical aspect of it. A lot of people were scared about applying because of that. And I'm happy that you said you went with the flow, because I'm very happy that you were a fellow. I think one thing that we keep insisting on is, even if you think you might not make the cut, let us make that decision. Do apply, just be yourself, be genuinely yourself, and answer the question to the best of your capabilities, or what you think should be the answer. And give us the opportunity to learn about you, and give us the opportunity to know you, so that we can then make a decision of like whether you can be a fellow or not. Because there's a lot of people that I've met afterwards that told us they wanted to apply, but they were scared. And I think they would have been great fellows. And some of them actually applied this time. So I'm very happy. So do not be scared to apply. Do apply, please. And on that note of Natasha that said about time and level of commitment required during the fellowship. So I did touch base on that on the slide before. So it will be available in the recording. But one thing I want to say is that so there will be the in-person session and the online sessions that are on specific days. There's also 1 week at the end of each month of those 6 month duration that is known as the personal work week, is when you won't be hearing from us. We won't be coming after you for deadlines or anything. It will be a space for you to work on the different assignments that you might have for the fellowship, or also to talk with your mentor, because one thing that we are very intentional with is we do pair each one of our fellows with a mentor. who they get to talk to throughout the month, for the 6 months, and even afterwards, if they do keep contact. I know a lot of the fellows that are still in touch with their mentors. But also, again, as I said at the beginning, if there is any moment where you feel like you can't make it because of commitment that it's that we are asking, please communicate with us, because if you say it in advance, we can work through with it. But if it's too short notice, it will be very difficult for us. And unfortunately, it might mean that you won't be able to finish the fellowship with all the other fellows, because we do have, for example, we do have an attendance rate that you need to match to be able to graduate from the fellowship. And also there's as I said, the assignments. When we actually talk to the different fellows, they say that throughout the fellowship of 6 months, they would rate it as a 3 to 5 hours per week kind of workload. So do keep in mind that we want you to be intentional in the, if you get a spot as a fellow, we really want you to show up, because we are very intentional into who we choose, because we do want to give the most of our time, even the different speakers that we have, the different facilitators, the different workshop coaches that we will have. We tend to take a small amount of fellows, so usually between 12 to 15, because we want to make time for each one of them. And so if you do take a spot on, if you do apply and you get a spot on the fellowship, it's very important that you show up. And this is something that we really want to make sure fellows or potential fellows are aware of before actually getting on the fellowship. So thank you, Natasha, for reminding me of like talking about this again, because I think it's very important. So we have a few minutes left before the end of this call. I don't know if there is any last questions. Again, if you do have questions after this call, feel free to reach out to us. So I see a question which is, hello everyone, how are the mentoring sessions going to be like? So this is something that you will need to discuss with your mentor. We've had different type of mentorship. So what we do is at the beginning, after having conversation with you and learning to know about you, we tend to pair you up with someone that we think could be a good match for you, career-wise or even personally or as a whole. And then you get to have a session. We have a session with all the mentors, and we have a session with all of you to make you understand what are the expectations on both sides. And then you have a conversation with your mentor. And with your mentor is when you decide what is the frequency, or like how often do you get to meet? Do you want to meet in person? Do you want it to be online? Do you want it to be on WhatsApp? This is a conversation that you get to have with your mentor and shape the type of relationship that you want to have together. We've had different type of mentorship across the different cohorts. Some people would go and have walks on the beach as part of the mentorship. Some people would go and have coffee. Some people would prefer online because it works better with their timetable or like their work schedule. So it's really up to you into how you want to showcase to take advantage of that mentorship, and something that works for both you and your mentor, of course. But one thing I want to say is that we initially ask mentors to give at least 1 hour per month, if I'm not wrong. But if you want to have more frequent conversation with your mentors, again, this is up to you. We ask them to give at least 1 hour per month throughout the 6 months. Whether you do more than that is up to you and your mentor. So I don't know if that answers your question. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Any last questions? Okay. So we have 5 more minutes. If you don't have any questions, you can hop off the call. If you would like to ask us privately, me and Anso at the end of the call, we can stay after the call for a little while. If there is anything, you can also reach out to us. But thank you very much for attending this session. I hope it was helpful to each one of you who is on the call right now or who is listening afterwards. And again, if there is any other questions, we will be sharing at the end there's already the link that Anne-Sophie shared. But as I said, if you can go on our link tree, you will get access to all our social medias and our email address, so you can reach out to us personally. Thank you.